Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, was the epitome of discipline and precision. Her home office was a testament to her orderly nature. Political documents neatly stacked, her court attire always prepared the night before, and her schedule meticulously planned. But today, instead of heading to the White House, where she typically wielded authority as President Donald Trump's spokesperson, she was on her way to the Palesto Municipal Court. A minor contract dispute involving her family's used truck dealership required her attention. She believed the issue had been misunderstood and was confident she could resolve it quickly. Dressed in a sharp navy blue blazer, a crisp white blouse, and tailored black pants, Karoline tied her blonde hair back and grabbed a banana and a thermal mug of coffee before leaving. Her BMW, a reward for her role in Trump's election victory, waited in the garage. As she navigated Palesto's slow morning traffic, she mentally reviewed her case documents, confident she had left enough time to reach the courthouse. She turned on NPR, listening to the morning news while mentally preparing for the day ahead. Suddenly, her car's Bluetooth signaled an incoming call from Michael Reynolds, a senior White House advisor. The Gulf of America Decree, a controversial policy renaming the Gulf of Mexico, was under fire, and the press needed a response. Karoline pulled over at a coffee shop, connected her laptop to her phone's hotspot, and began drafting a sharp, legally grounded reply. Time slipped away as she meticulously analyzed each point, determined to craft a perfect response. By the time she finished, she realized she was running late for court. She arrived at the courthouse a few minutes behind schedule, only to face Judge Edward Grayson, a strict and authoritarian figure known for his disdain for tardiness. Grayson immediately reprimanded her, imposing a $500 fine for contempt. Karoline, calm and composed, noted the judge's biased behavior. Earlier, a middle-aged businessman had arrived late without consequence, while she and other younger defendants faced harsh penalties. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as Grayson's voice echoed with disapproval. Karoline, drawing on her legal knowledge from years of studying campaign documents and working alongside Trump's advisors, decided to challenge the judge. She calmly explained her delay, citing her White House responsibilities, and presented evidence of Grayson's unequal treatment of defendants. The courtroom fell silent as she exposed the systemic bias in his rulings. Her poised and professional demeanor left everyone in awe, including the court clerk, Mrs. Margaret Evans, who had quietly documented similar incidents for years. Grayson, visibly shaken, attempted to backtrack, offering to dismiss the fine. But Karoline refused. Instead, she proposed 3 actions: paying the fine as evidence of the court's bias, reviewing Grayson's past rulings for patterns of discrimination, and implementing mandatory bias training for court personnel. Her words were measured but firm, and the courtroom watched in stunned silence as she turned the tables on the judge. The incident quickly gained attention, sparking a statewide debate about bias in the legal system. Former defendants, court staff, and political colleagues came forward with their own stories of unfair treatment. Karoline's actions led to a formal investigation into Grayson's conduct, uncovering undeniable patterns of discrimination against younger defendants. The New Hampshire Judicial Conduct Committee launched a thorough review, analyzing thousands of cases and interviewing dozens of witnesses. The fallout was swift and far-reaching. Grayson's career came under intense scrutiny, and the investigation revealed systemic issues that went beyond his courtroom. Karoline, meanwhile, became a symbol of courage and intellect, inspiring others to challenge systemic injustices. Her small courtroom victory grew into a larger movement for legal reform, proving that even the most entrenched biases could be confronted and changed. As the investigation unfolded, Karoline continued her work at the White House, but her office became a hub for people wanting to share their stories. Young advisors brought records of their experiences, and community activists provided documentation of long-ignored complaints. Karoline's actions had sparked a wave of accountability, and her influence extended far beyond the walls of the courtroom. In the weeks that followed, the story of Karoline's stand against Judge Grayson spread like wildfire. Hashtags like #Grayson Bias and legal reform trended on social media, and news outlets across the country picked up the story. Karoline's calm, professional demeanor and her ability to dismantle systemic bias with logic and evidence made her a hero to many. The investigation into Grayson's courtroom revealed shocking patterns. Younger defendants were fined more heavily, interrupted more frequently, and given less time to present their cases. The data was undeniable, and the public outcry was overwhelming. Grayson, once a respected figure in the legal community, found himself at the center of a scandal that would define the end of his career. Karoline, meanwhile, used her platform to advocate for broader changes in the legal system. She spoke at press conferences, wrote op-eds, and worked with lawmakers to draft legislation aimed at addressing systemic bias. Her actions inspired a new generation of legal professionals to challenge injustice and fight for fairness. In the end, what had started as a minor contract dispute in a small municipal court had grown into a national movement for legal reform. Karoline's courage, intellect, and unwavering commitment to justice had not only exposed the biases in Judge Grayson's courtroom, but had also ignited a larger conversation about fairness and equality in the legal system.